إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. ثم أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله جل وعلا، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أجارني الله وإياكم من النار. ثم أما بعد. My brothers and sisters in Islam, there is something that is very heavy that is weighing on the chest and weighing on the heart. And this is a major sin that is among the Muslim community. And wherever you go around the world, you find that people are engaged in this major sin. And as I grow older and I read more messages and I read comments from the community, we find that this matter is only increasing and not decreasing. And this is the matter of ties that are being severed between one another. The ties that are being severed between one another. This indeed is a major sin. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, وَلَا تَقَاطَعُوا وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. He said, do not cut ties and be brothers of one another. Very clear instruction from the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And a few words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if only the hearts were pure, should solve every problem. But if a few words of a Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam aren't able to solve a problem that we have among ourselves, then we need to check the hearts, because they are not pure. The pure heart quickly accepts what the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says and strives to implement this matter. And in addition to this, Allah Azza wa Jal himself in the Quran said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. The believers are nothing but brothers to one another. Then Allah Azza wa Jal knows that some relationships may be severed, some relationships may be damaged. There could be a damage between parents and their children. There could be damage between the children and their parents. There could be damage between the brothers and the sisters within one family. There could be damage and problem between a husband and a wife. There could be damage and broken relationships between people who were once friends to one another. Allah Azza wa Jal knows this. So he immediately after, he said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Right after it, he said, فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ. He said, reconcile with your brothers. Allah Azza wa Jal knows that some of these relationships will be damaged. Someone will say something accidentally, someone will say something purposely, someone will violate some other person's rights, someone will take someone's wealth, someone will take someone's property, someone will slander someone and backbite someone and curse someone. It'll happen. So what's the immediate advice after this? Allah Azza wa Jal said, فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ. Aslihu, make sulh, fix and mend these broken ties and relationship. What should be the main motive? What should be the main motive? Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. That's it. Just fear Allah Azza wa Jal, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. And if your main motive was, perhaps people deserve it, perhaps they don't, but your main motive is that Allah wants to keep these relationships together. He is the one who commanded for me to keep them together. Then Allah Azza wa Jal promises, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. That is when you will earn the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala collectively and together. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Wallahi, there is a deed that is a lot better than all the voluntary deeds that we do. You know those long nights of Qiyam in Ramadan, and you know that voluntary fasting that people do Mondays and Thursdays, 3 days a week, and all this extra charity and donation that people do, all the voluntary deeds, the greatest of them. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, once he came out to the companions and he said to them, there's something better than all this. He said to them, ألا أدلكم على ما هو خير من صلاة وصيام وصدقة? Shall I not inform you of that which is better than charity, يعني the extra, the voluntary charity? And what is better than voluntary fasting? And what is better than voluntary salat? They said, Bala ya Rasulullah, what is it? So he said to them, إصلاح ذات البين, reconciling between one another and making efforts to reconcile with your brother or with your sister. And people from the outside that want to get involved to mend relationships, this is a lot better than fasting Mondays and Thursdays and giving sadaqah, voluntary sadaqah, and praying the nights. Shuf our Deen, because this is an extremely important matter in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal, and it is a form of worship from the greatest of worships. So we need to look at this matter with all seriousness and work towards it. And in the same hadith, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, فَإِنَّ فَسَادَ ذَاتِ الْبَيْنِ هِيَ الْحَالِقَةِ. He said, severed and broken relationships between the people, it is the shaver. He said it, I don't mean that it shaves the head, rather it shaves a deen, as the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said. Very interesting metaphor here. You see, the idea is when you have a shaver and you run it across your head, you begin to take off your hair. And if you keep doing this, very soon you'll have no hair on your head. So the idea is if you continue this severed relationship and you normalize it and you're happy about it and you don't do anything to mend and reconcile and to fix, very soon a deen is going to come off. A person may die and meet Allah Azza wa Jal with no iman in his heart. What a dangerous situation that is. Brothers and sisters in Islam, so seeking the reward of this hadith, I want to share with you all a bit of motivation and inspiration. For those who have ties that are broken and damaged and severed, maybe what I can share in the remaining time of this khutbah becomes a motivation for you so that you work on reconciling and mending those broken relationships for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Firstly, I want to give you a fact from the Quran. I think we should all be aware of whatever is in the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, وَجَعَلْنَا بَعْضَكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ فِتْنَةً أَتَصْبِرُونَ. Put this in your mind. Allah Azza wa Jal, when He spoke about human beings with one another, He said, we made you a test for each other. Listen. وَجَعَلْنَا بَعْضَكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ فِتْنَةً. We are a test to each other. Yani the brother is a test to his sister, the sister is a test to her brother. The parents are a fitna to their children, and the children are a fitna, they are a test to their parents. The teacher is a fitna to his students, and the students are a fitna, are a test to the teacher. The employer, the employee, friends with each other, we're all a fitna to one another, we're a test. What does this mean? Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he says, that means we all owe each other rights. And those rights, Allah put them among us. So now, the parents are a fitna to their children. What does that mean? It means, are they going to uphold that right? Are they going to pass that test? Are they going to respect their children? Are they going to love them? Are they going to nurture them? Are they going to teach them? Are they going to spend upon them? This is the fitna. And then the children are a fitna to their parents, meaning, are they going to respect and honor their parents? Are they going to be dutiful towards them? Well, are they going to give them a hard time and cut them and block them out of their life when they get frustrated from them? All of us are a test to one another in one way or another. We cannot escape this fact. And then Allah Azza wa Jal said at the end, أَتَصْبِرُونَ. Are you going to be patient with one another? Are you going to strive to give each other their rights as believers and whatever relationship is between you? Are you going to do this? Like, how about if the relationship becomes damaged? What are you going to do? أتصبرون? Will you be patient and try to fix and mend things? Or are you going to take the easy way out and say, خلاص, block on WhatsApp and block here and block there and goodbye, I don't want to see this person ever again. In that case, you did not do sabr. You went against what Allah Azza wa Jal commanded. And that's why at the end of the ayah he said, أتصبرون وكان الله بما تعملون بصيرا. Allah Azza wa Jal is well aware of what you're doing, meaning He keeps an eye out for what you are doing. He records your behavior. He records your words. He records your emotions towards this brother or sister that now the relationship has been damaged. What are you going to do? And you leave it, and on the day of judgment you'll stand before Allah Azza wa Jal and you'll be held accountable for it. So that is the first matter. We should all be aware of it. It's not something strange when a relationship becomes fragile and broken. It's not strange. It'll happen. Human beings. We make mistakes, we make errors, we may say something that displeases another. But the great test here is, what are you going to do about it? The second point I mentioned to you all, and this is going to be a message to the oppressor, to the wrongdoer. Because from among us, from among human beings are oppressors, people that violate, people that wrong others. A message to you. My brother and my sister, the oppressor, the wrongdoer. I say, fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Aren't you worried and scared and terrified that in the Quran Allah Azza wa Jal said, أَلَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الظَّالِمِينَ? May the curse of Allah be upon the wrongdoer. And this includes any wrongdoer, whether from the disbelievers or the believers. A believer may be cursed by Allah Azza wa Jal according to his wrongdoing. According to his wrongdoing, he may be cursed by Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is no joke. Doesn't this ayah alone send shivers in a person's body to say, you know what, I need to fear Allah Azza wa Jal and escape the curse of Allah Azza wa Jal in whatever means and way I can? So this is a message to the wrongdoer. I say, my brothers and my sisters in Islam, Allah Azza wa Jal is there for the victim, for the one who you wronged. Allah is not with the oppressor. Allah is not with you when you oppress others in your words, in your actions, or in your dealings. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he has advice for you, O oppressor. Listen, because this hadith brings some hope into your life so long as you're still alive. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من كانت له مظلمة لأخيه من عرضه أو شيء فليتحلله منه اليوم قبل أن لا يكون درهم ولا دينار. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, whoever has wronged his brother, meaning this is a message to the oppressor, whoever has wronged his brother in anything of his wealth or dignity and honor, slandered him, backbit him, whatever the case may be, then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, let him seek forgiveness from now, reconcile now, before the day of judgment comes, in where there will be no currency, no dirham and no dinar, no dollar, no cents, no bitcoin, no nothing could solve your problem on that day. That is because on the day of judgment, all currencies have expired, all currencies have finished. The only currency left on the day of judgment is al-hasanat was-sayyi'at. A person is extremely in need of one hasana of his. And on that day, if you hadn't sorted your issues out here, you could have done it. It's so easy here. What is it? What does the other person want? Some money? Does he want an apology? What is it? Do whatever it requires. Just get rid of it from now. Because if not, it's going to be, because you're still going to pay for it. But over there, it's going to be intense. You choose. Where do you want to mend this relationship? You want to mend it here? Or you want to mend it over there? Because either way, it's going to mend. It's going to fix. Don't think you will get away with what you took and what you violated of others' rights. Impossible. You will never get away with it. You either deal with it here, or it's going to come in front of you on that day where you would wish you had finished it off and dealt with it here. On that day, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says to the companions, أَتَدْرُونَ مَنِ الْمُفْلِسِ? Watch, I will show you how Allah will deal with it on the day of judgment. He says to the companions once, do you know who the bankrupt among you is? They said, Ya Rasulullah, it's the one who لا درهم ولا دينار له, the one who has no money. This is what we understand bankrupt as. يعني open your bank account, wallah, it's very low. هذا الباnkrupt. La, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam corrects their understanding. He says, no, listen to who the bankrupt is on the day of judgment. He says, من يأتي يوم القيامة بصلاة وصيام وزكاة. A person that comes on the day of judgment and he comes with mountains of salat. Shuf salatin, that tanween there meaning he has salah, is perfected his salat, 10 out of 10. And he also comes with fasting, 10 out of 10. And he comes and he has fulfilled all his zakat, due rights, sadaqah, everything, 10 out of 10. Allahu Akbar. Allah is praising this person's worship. But then again, he comes on the day of judgment, ya'ti, the very same person who's got a tick on all of his worships. Ya'ti waqad shatama hadha. But he comes and he had slandered someone and he didn't deal with it in this worldly life. And he comes and he has cursed someone and he has backbit someone and he has robbed someone. He has violated the rights of others. He has spilled the blood of others. And he has hit such and such. And all of these violations, he thought Allah didn't see him. So he comes on the day of judgment and he stands. And all the people he wronged, Allahu Alam how many there are, perhaps as far as the eye can see, they're standing in line. What do they want from him? They want their right. He doesn't have money to pay them. He has to pay them now in the currency of hasanat. So he begins to give his hasanat. Imagine this. Like, imagine your hasana was fasting Mondays and Thursdays. It's going to end up in the account of someone who perhaps never fasted Monday and Thursday. This is going to hurt the heart. Imagine your long nights of salat. They're going to be offloaded and given to someone who perhaps never prayed the night. And then this person will meet Allah with reward as though he prayed the night. Yallah, and give one hasana after the other. Imagine in this line is your own mother. Imagine in this line is your own child. No one cares about anyone on that day. There's no emotions. Everyone's on his own. Give me, I don't care who you are. And then the sad story is that perhaps this person's hasanat will finish. And if he's finished, and the people that are standing before him are still long line, they want their rights as well. Hasn't done. They're not done yet. They begin to give from his sayyat to his account of bad deeds. Allahu Akbar. You know what that means? This man now may end up with the sin of alcohol, but he never drank alcohol in his life. This is the greatest contradiction on earth. He'll end up with riba that he never consumed. He'll end up with alcohol he never drank. He'll end up with all these major sins that he perhaps never did in his lifetime. And he'll be held accountable based on all that. It's all in his account now, just because he was stubborn to deal with his issues in this life. Are you happy with that? And what a beautiful, merciful hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, bringing this to our attention now. So that we don't get embarrassed on that day in a situation, nasty situation like this. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us forgiveness, and we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to mend the hearts between one another. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. Brothers and sisters in Islam, and the final and third message I give, and that is a message to the one who has been wronged. So our previous message was to the wrongdoer, the oppressor. Now the message is to the one who has been wronged and oppressed, the victim. I say, my brother and my sister, you have three ways in which you can respond. And this is the truth. And the third one is better than the first and the second. But to be open and honest, I'll give you options. Number one, You may seek justice and compensation in this life. You can do that. That is your right. And no one should stand between you and that. If you want to go ahead and seek justice for your case, and you wanted your right back in this dunya, you may do so. Allah Azza wa Jal, in fact, counts this as a noble quality of the righteous. He said, وَلَمَنْ انْتَصَرَ بَعْدَ ظُلْمِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَا عَلَيْهِم مِّن سَبِيلٍ. Those who defend themselves after being oppressed, there is no blame upon them. So this is a quality of the righteous, as Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in Surah Ash-Shura. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَهُمُ الْبَغْيُ هُمْ يَنْتَصِرُونَ. The believers, from their qualities, when they are afflicted by oppression, when they have been wronged, they defend themselves, they defend their honor, and there is no harm upon doing so. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا. If someone wronged you, you may wrong them back in the same manner they wronged you, without any excess, because if you go in excess, you have violated, you've become an oppressor. And this, of course, sometimes could be problematic if you try to understand it and work it out on your own. So it would require a Muslim judge, a sheikh, to sit between two people and teach them how to take each other's, how to deal with one another. That's the first option. The second option you have, you may choose to forgive in this life and say, I want my right on the day of judgment. You can do that. Because why should the oppressor live comfortably, free of stress and worry and pain, as though nothing happened? Won't as a victim, as the one who was wronged, you have to live with this pain and agony and stress and depression all your life. So a way out of this, you can say, you know what, I'm going to let this go in this dunya, just for a peace of mind, for my own comfort and happiness and peace. Let it go, and I will see this person on the day of judgment, and I'll get what Allah Azza wa Jal gives me from him on that day. You may well and truly do this, and there's no issue concerning this matter. In fact, sometimes it's better not to forgive a person in this life. It just depends. If he's not worthy of forgiveness, then you let him go. Maybe some people are not worthy of forgiveness. They don't show any remorse. They haven't even apologized. They haven't offered to fix and mend the relationship. Maybe these people, if you forgive them, they'll harm others. So sometimes it's just better not to forgive. But of course, every case differs from one to another. I'm giving general guidelines here. And the third and final matter in how you can deal with this issue as a wrongdoer, and this is the highest of all, is to forgive entirely and pardon entirely, and to also put efforts to reconcile. To forgive in this life and in the afterlife, and to say, I don't want anything anymore. Allah Azza wa Jal counted this as one of the highest qualities of believers, of people who are patient. He says, فَمَنْ عَفَا وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Anyone who forgives, pardons, not only this, but then he goes that extra step to reconcile with the one who wronged him. فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. His reward is upon Allah. You know what this means? His reward is upon Allah. It is only mentioned in our Deen a few times for a few deeds. Heck, for maybe 3 or 4 deeds. فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ, meaning it cannot be measured. If it was recorded in the Quran or in the Sunnah, it'd be too much for us to read and understand. So Allah Azza wa Jal summarized that and said, your reward's on me. The one who forgives, pardons, and reconciles as well. فَمَنْ عَفَى وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. And perhaps the wronged person, he may think, if I was to forgive the one who wronged me, and if I was to pardon him and reconcile with him, I may be seen as someone low, someone weak, someone that wasn't able to stand for his rights. I may be seen as this. And sometimes this is what causes the people to hold back from the goodness that they wanted to do. Don't listen to people. Listen to what Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said. He said, وَمَا زَادَ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا بِعَفْوٍ إِلَّا عِزًّا. No one forgives except that Allah increases them in honor. So you may think that I'll become humiliated if I forgave such and such person. Yet Allah Azza wa Jal is saying He will only increase you in honor, in status and rank. And that's all that counts, how you are viewed in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. And to conclude the khutbah, I'm going to give you a few examples The best of them is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, by far, no one was more oppressed and wronged than him sallallahu alayhi wasallam. His people boycotted him. This is his own family members. They insulted him. They cursed him. They threw the placenta of a pregnant camel on his back while he was in sujood. They threw stones at him when he was preaching to them at the goodness wa tawheed. They killed some of his family members like Hamza radiallahu anhu and Zainab, his daughter radiallahu anha. They killed some of his beloved companions and his friends. They starved him in Mecca. And that was the oppression against him day and night. And they kicked him out of his hometown. Yet in the end, when he had the ability over them, he chose forgiveness over anger and rage. And he said, اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. He said, go, you're all set free to go. I don't want to take any revenge against you. You have Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam as an example. Look at the case of Yaqub alayhi salam. His children caused him a lot of harm and damage to the point where he became blind. وَبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. They oppressed their father. They took one of his children, Yusuf alayhi salam, they threw him in a well, Allahu alam, where he ended up going to a palace, and he didn't see him for many years. And he became in a state of grief. فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. And even then, at the end, when he met with his children, he said, سوف أستغفر لكم ربي إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. I'm going to forgive you all. I'm going to ask Allah to forgive you all, for verily He is the most forgiving, the most merciful. Look at this is a quality of prophets. And these are the people that we're supposed to follow. And I give you one last example of a companion, not a prophet. So you can see how relevant this is and how possible it is. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, in the case of one of his relatives, Mistah ibn Athath. Mistah radiallahu anhu was a relative of Abu Bakr. And Abu Bakr used to give him monthly allowance. He used to give him money. And one time, Mistah got caught up in the slander against Aisha radiallahu anha. He was one of those who got caught up in this slander. So when Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu heard that this man, Mistah, my relative, I give him money, and he spoke something about my daughter that is inappropriate, Wallahi, I will not give him anything anymore. Look, he released his frustration and anger by withholding goodness from him. So then Allah Azza wa Jal revealed an ayah. This is of course after Mistah radiallahu anhu had sought forgiveness for the crime that he got involved in. Allah Azza wa Jal revealed an ayah saying, وَلَا يَأْتَلِ أُولُو الْفَضْلِ مِنْكُمْ وَالسَّعَةِ أَن يُؤْتُوا أُولِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَالْمُهَاجِرِينَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا وَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, let not those of virtue and wealth among you, like the people of Abu Bakr, let the likes of Abu Bakr, don't take an oath, don't swear, don't take an oath of not giving your relatives and the needy and those who have immigrated for the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal is saying to Abu Bakr, don't do that. You're a person of high nobility and status. Don't take an oath that you will prevent goodness from your relatives and the poor and the needy. Then how did Allah encourage him? He said, وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا. Forgive and turn a new page. Pardon. Then Allah Azza wa Jal motivates him even more. And He says, أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Oh Abu Bakr, don't you love that Allah Azza wa Jal forgive you on a day where you need forgiveness? Don't you like that? Wallahu Ghafurur Rahim. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, upon hearing the ayah, and this should be our response upon hearing the ayah, it only depends on how pure the heart is. He said, Bala wallahi inni la uhibbu an yaghfir Allahu li. He said, by Allah, I love that Allah Azza wa Jal forgive me. So then he said, I am going to return the allowance back to my relative Mistah, and I will never hold it back from him ever again. And he continued to give him the allowance despite the hurt and the pain that he caused Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and his family. He let it go for the sake of Allah, so that he can earn the reward of Allah and the forgiveness of Allah on the Day of Judgment. Brothers and sisters in Islam, finally I say to you, sometimes the oppressor, the one who did wrong, may say, I've went to the one who I've wronged. I've went to him and I'm trying to sort out the issue. I really want to fix it. But the one I wronged has blocked all avenues, has closed the path of reconciliation. He doesn't want to see me, doesn't want to deal with me ever again. What do I do? We say, my brother and my sister, the main thing is that you are sincere with Allah Azza wa Jal. If you are remorseful and feel bad for what you've done, and you have reached out multiple times, you want to fix the situation, you want to reconcile, you're ready to offer anything to fix the matter, but that person that you wronged has blocked all avenues, then if you are sincere and you have made a tawbah to Allah Azza wa Jal, then the good news, bi'idhnillah, is that such a person, Allah will forgive him on the Day of Judgment. And for the one who you wronged, Allah will give him on the Day of Judgment until he is satisfied. The main thing is for you to clear yourself and your heart between you and Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you're able to reach out, keep doing so. Doesn't matter how much time and effort it takes, keep doing so. And that would be a lot better for yourself and for the situation of our Iman. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive us all. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to heal these broken relationships and to fix them for us. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. هذا وصلوا وسلموا ورحمكم الله على خير البرية وأزكى البشرية محمد بن عبد الله صاحب الحوض والشفاعة. فقد أمركم الله تعالى بأمر بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكته المسبحة بقدسه وأيه بكم أيها المؤمنون فقال عز من قائل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.